So it is Friday morning, it's 5 to 7 and we are on our way to fish the Gauge at Kingsnordley to a place called Carp, just over by Bridgenorth. It's one of our favourite places to go and fish. It's got carp, sturgeon and catfish in there, so I'm going to try and catch at least one of each to show you how I catch them. We've got loads of different baits to use, so we're going to give everything a try. The postcode to the Gauge, or to Kingsnordley rather, will take you to Kingsnordley farm. So what I'll do when I'm at the farm, I'll video the drive up to the Gauge, because it's quite hard to find if you don't know where it is. We're going to do a 24, so we'll be there till tomorrow morning sometime. Taking Mason with me, my nephew, and one of the other lads, Marcus, is meeting us up there as well. When I get there and I've set up, I'll show you the rigs that we're using and the baits. So yeah, weather's meant to be pretty decent. It's quite cold at the minute, it's only 6 degrees, but it's meant to get warmer throughout the day. So we've been and had our Mackey's breakfast to fuel up for the day, and I'll show you what we do when we get there. Peace. So all of my rigs in this video are the Corda Basics hair rigs with the size 6 hook, unless I'm fishing for cats, then I use the size 4, paired with the Corda Basics leg clip leaders with one of these NGT 2-ounce pear-shaped leads. For all these baits that I'm going to show you now as well, I also have the matching pellets. So this is the crabberry boilie, paired with the crabberry glug. CC More Live System boilie, paired with the Live System bait booster. The Sticky Signature squid wafters, spicy chorizo, and of course the old faithful pepperami. So for the first part of the session I specifically targeted carp. So this rod that I'm putting out now had a signature squid pink wafter on. The first rod that I'd already put out had the crabberry boilie with a PVA mesh bag made up with crabberry pellet soaked in the crabberry glug. So here I was just pinging out 5 or 6 catapults of crabberry and halibut pellet just over the top of my rigs. It was quite a slow start to the day, but as you can see the weather picked up in the end and it turned out to be a really nice day. I ended up sitting there for 3.5 to 4 hours watching my rods do absolutely nothing, so I pulled them both in, rebaited them both with fresh crabberry boilies with PVA mesh bags with the crabberry pellet in, covered in the crabberry glug. And once I got them back out, it was time for some food. After some food and a bit more time sitting on the bank watching my rods, I finally got my first run of the day and managed to land myself this little common. The poor thing looked absolutely battered, but nonetheless, it was still a fish. Not too long after landing the first one, I landed myself another, the 16-pound common, which was a lot better looking and in a lot better condition, and the crabberry seemed to be doing the business. A couple of hours have passed and I was in again. I thought this time I was into a sturgeon because they do tend to go for the crabberry baits as well. And this one seemed to be holding me to the bottom of the lake and putting up a really good fight, hence why I thought it was a sturgeon. Turns out it wasn't a sturgeon, but it was this really nice 12-pound mirror, and as happy as I was with it, I couldn't help but feel a bit bad because this was now my third fish and Marcus and Mason still hadn't caught anything. The lake went a bit quiet and as it started to get dark, we got the fire going and I decided through the night I was going to start to target catfish. So targeting the catfish, I put on 2 big chunks of chorizo, 1 on each rod, and I banged them out pretty much into the middle of the lake and got myself tucked up in my sleeping bag and went to sleep in the hope that through the night I'd be woken up by a screaming run. While I was lying in my bivvy trying to get to sleep, I could hear a lot of splashing around going on in my swim, which tends to be sturgeon as they're feeding on the floor in the margins. Their tails stick up out of the water and thrash around a bit. So I decided to pull one of the rods in and trim the chorizo down to a more manageable size in the hope that a sturgeon would take it as well. And it turns out I was right to do so, when at about 11:45 that decision paid dividends when my rod tore off again and I was into this lovely £16 sturgeon. Not a bad wake up call if I do say so myself. And then finally, about an hour after I landed mine, Mark's rod tore off and he was into his first fish of the trip and landed himself this really nice sturgeon which weighed about the same as mine. The night passed and produced no more fish, so we actually got a decent night's sleep, which is pretty rare when you're night fishing. So we woke up, got the kettle on and made ourselves a brew, and then my attention turned to Mason as he still hadn't caught any fish. I pulled my 2 rods in and Mason's 2 rods and put fresh pepper army on each rod and dropped them all in the margins in the hope of catching him a sturgeon, as he'd never caught one before. After a couple of hours, we decided to start packing up. Mason pulled in his first rod and wanted to cast it over to the island, thinking that that'd be a better positioned rig for him, so I let him do that. Turns out he was actually right to do so, because as we were literally about to take the rods out of the water at 12:15, he got his first run and it screamed off. This fish gave him a really good fight and ended up running halfway back down the lake, taking out my lines and Mark's lines in the process.
Okay, run a bit, don't keep it in. Okay, keep the bend in the rod. Bring it this way. Reel in a bit, reel in. Okay, just let it run a bit, that's fine.
At this point, I'm starting to get nervous because he's been fighting this fish for about 10 minutes now, and I just wanted him to get it in the net because if it had come off, he would have been gutted and so would I.
No, reel in, reel in.
He played the fish perfectly and ended up landing himself an 18-pound, 10-ounce mirror carp, which absolutely smashed his PB by about 7.5 pounds. This is quite a good video because this is the bit of fishing that non-anglers don't see. When you see pictures of anglers holding fish and posing with them when they've caught them, what they don't see is the battle we have to go through to get that picture, and this is a perfect video to explain that. And here he is with his prize catch. One very happy 12-year-old, and behind the camera, one very proud uncle. So of course, when we got back, I treated him to a celebratory KFC. Well done, mate.
I love fishing. I love catching fish. You know, it's a passion that I've had for a few years now. But there's nothing better to me than watching Mace catch a fish. It filled me with the same excitement as watching Matt Doherty slide home an 89th minute winner against City to beat them 3-2 in the league. So yeah, Mason landing that fish was a real good special moment for both of us, especially as he absolutely smashed his PB by about 7.5 pounds. And it was a lovely looking mirror as well. I didn't manage to get a video of the drive up to the gauge from the farm because I mean, a mixture of the sun coming straight through my windscreen and my windscreen being filthy dirty didn't make for a good video. But if you go past the farm on your right hand side, you go round a left hand bend and then a right hand bend, and on the next bend on the corner opposite you is the entrance to the drive, and there'll be a little wooden sign that says the gauge on it. I think I managed to get the sign in the end of the video I tried to make, so I'll screenshot that and put the picture up, and I'll also put up a picture of the postcode so you know how to get to the farm in the first place. If you like the video, like it, share it, drop me a follow, and we'll see you in the not too distant future. Peace.